Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. We are done with the last month, the last weekend of the month before the battle. And as you might imagine, I have a lot of supports unlocked. Like, a lot. But all of the supports are like the final support in their respective chains, which means that we don't need to do them before the battle. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go through some of them, definitely not all of them, and then stop and do the pre-battle stuff this episode, and the next episode will be just the battle itself. As you can see, yeah, here, Lorenz is completely done. Every single one of his supports.
Too much fighting. I need a moment's peace.
Why, if it isn't Dorothea?
What are you doing here?
Patrolling the grounds. There have been entirely too many raids as of late. And yourself?
Nothing. Not really. I just needed a bit of quiet.
It is regrettable to see you so troubled by this war. This is not a burden any commoner should bear.
Don't trouble yourself on my account. So, did you ever find that wife you were looking for?
This is hardly the time or place for me to be searching for a bride. Why do you ask?
The truth is, I know this is sudden, but there's a war on, and who knows what tomorrow brings, right?
Go on.
I've always been quite fond of you. But I've also, well, I've given up on you.
That is sudden, but why would you give up on me?
You're from a noble family, and I'm a commoner. It would have been scandalous. I did what I could to be worthy of you, but you never noticed. So, I've resigned myself to a lonesome life.
What? Really?
With feelings unrequited.
You found it so easy to give up on me? Truly? This war has changed my mind on a great many things, you know. I've given it all a lot of thought.
I like seeing you flustered, you know that? It makes joking with you so much more fun.
Wow.
Joking?
Oh my gosh! She got me too!
Joking. It used to be my job to pluck at people's heartstrings, remember? And I'm much better at it than you are. Admit it, Sir Lawrence.
Damn, Dorothea, that's so harsh.
But your words have cut straight through to my heart. And now I must tell you how I feel. I've always been charmed by you. I do not think I realized just how thoroughly until this moment.
You and I both know that doesn't matter. Not really. We can never get married.
Perhaps not now. I've not determined where I stand when it comes to marriage. But when this war is over, I will make a decision.
You will, huh? Gosh, I sure do hope I'm not already married by then.
Oh, that's hardly a concern. No one you find to me.
Okay, that's one of my favorite one of those kinds of supports. Like, in general, you know, a lot of it feels too, I don't know, cringy or whatever, but that one, and I was so disappointed in Dorothea too. I was like, really? Come on, you didn't like him, you hated him, he's one of those nobles you hate, and blah blah blah, and then wham. And then Lorenz pulls the Lorenz at the end too. Oh my gosh.
Are you praying, Ignatz? Are you concerned about something?
A little. I'm coming to accept that I will never be an artist. I'm self-taught, so my style and technique are probably all wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. Besides, how could I persuade my father? I can't even imagine his reaction. He'd disown me.
It takes courage to stray from the path that has been set out for you. It's never easy. I'm in a similar position. I've been carrying out my adoptive father's wishes up until this point. But
But
it's never a bad thing to have dreams. That's how I feel, at least. I can't imagine a life in which I'd given up on my dreams. How could anyone find happiness in that? Even with your father's demands, you can still work toward one small dream at a time.
you know, I suppose you're right. My dream of being an artist gives me the energy to go on. You're really wise, Mercedes.
Oh, goodness. That's not how most people would describe me. I just don't want you to give up on your art. Besides, I genuinely do want to see your painting of the goddess.
Really? I'm pleased to hear you say so. You said you're in the same position as I am. What did you mean by that?
My future has been decided for me as well. I'm to be married off to a nobleman.
What?
Is it really that surprising? I think many young women face the same fate.
So, will you get married?
I suppose I haven't given it much thought.
Except in all of your other
Whatever
supports.
might happen, I'm sure everything will work out in the end if I don't give up on my dreams.
Everything will work out in the end. Mercedes, you're amazing. I think that whatever you do, wherever you go, you'll help a lot of people. You're so kind. I know you can... Oh,
What's wrong, Ignatz? You have a strange look on your face.
for my whole life I've wanted to paint the goddess, but I never could. Whatever shape I gave her, she never seemed quite right. But it's just come to me.
It's wonderful how inspiration can strike so suddenly. Quick, paint before you lose it.
I will. Will you help me?
I'd be happy to help, but I'm not sure what I can do.
Pose.
Don't you see? The goddess I imagined and tried to paint so many times. She's you. I have to get my supplies. Stay right there.
Wow. To say such a thing directly before the altar, that must be some kind of sin. I'll say an extra prayer for him.
I'll consider it. Well, alright. Shia LaBeouf approves of that conversation. Alright, just did a Mercedes one. Let's not do that.
Catherine's working hard. I guess even the strongest fighters can't neglect their training. At it again? Or is she still at it?
Oh, a spectator. If you want to ogle, you ought to be a little less conspicuous.
Sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just passing by. I couldn't help but wonder, though. Have you been training all this time?
Yes, I'm simulating prolonged combat. Fighting for a long time requires a whole different set of skills. If you can't handle it in training, you'll certainly be doomed against the real thing.
I can't even imagine having what it takes to keep that up for so long.
You've been in your share of battles. I'm sure you have some sense of what it takes. A brutal, protracted clash in open marshland, neither side retreating.
There's no fatigue
In that
mechanic in this
situation,
game.
what will you do? Your survival depends on decisions you make in the moment.
I see why you're so successful.
Most importantly, don't give up.
And
Don't
trust
start
your
thinking
instincts.
about how you might lose or might die. Focus on surviving, on winning.
You're right. I've been narrow-minded. I had decided, since I don't have a crest and can't use relics, that I'm powerless against someone like you. But that's wrong. I'm not helpless. Not as long as I'm breathing and on my feet. So, the first thing I'm going to do is learn how to beat you. When you're unarmed, at least.
That's the spirit, Leonie. Though I'm not planning on losing either, you know.
Good. I hope you're ready, because I'm going to train even harder than you.
You remind me of myself when I was young. I would become so angry at my own weakness. I feel strangely nostalgic seeing that same anger in you. Huh? Where'd that girl go?
We start tomorrow!
I kind of thought she was going to just charge her out of nowhere or something.
How the crimson rain of pain it came, falling hard upon a land aflame, when the sacred blade it split the sky, until the heavens heard our cry. In the hour of vengeance will you heed the call? On the red fields of revenge will you help avenge? We must fight strong and stand tall.
Oh, Ferdinand, that song.
Manuela, hello. What a treat. It is most rare to see you at the training grounds. I have never had the honor of sparring with a princess. Why not grab a sword?
Ferdinand, that's called changing the subject. That song you were singing, is it the one you said made such an impression on you?
So you heard me. I hope it was not too grating on your ears.
You've nothing at all to be embarrassed about. I'm pleased if one of my songs stayed with you like that. Oh, it really takes me back. I remember the big battle in the first act. How the crimson rain of pain it came, falling hard upon a land of flame, when the sacred blade it split the sky, until the heavens heard our cry. In the hour of vengeance, will you heed the call? On the red fields of revenge, will you help avenge? We must fight strong and stand tall. Wow, my heyday is behind me. That's for sure.
No, that was wonderful. Exactly the voice I recall from my childhood. To have witnessed this performance in such an intimate setting, I am deeply moved. I cannot stop trembling. I feel as though I am going to cry.
It wasn't that good.
You have shaken me to my very core.
All right, Ferdinand, relax. I can see that it's affected you deeply.
You made a little boy's cherished dream come true. Perhaps you can help realize one more.
Another one? And what would that be?
Would you do the sword dance with me? The one that accompanied the song? It had a part for a male performer, if I recall. I would be truly honored.
I'm sure I can't do it as well now as I could then, but you're just so adorably... you. I can't resist.
Thank you so much. That has long been a dream of mine, and you made it a reality.
I gotta say, Ferdinand, you're full of surprises. It was like dancing with a pro. Perfect timing, always in step.
All thanks to you. You inspired me.
Or perhaps it was you who inspired me.
That song doesn't seem particularly operatic. The tempo is... I don't know. Tempo's kind of fast and like the rhyming scheme is a little weird. But maybe it works better in Japanese. Anyway, I thought Ferdinand did a good job singing it. I mean, Manuela did fine too, but... yeah, I was like, ah, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Go on, eat up. Oh wow, you're really going at it. Still hungry, huh? You're a greedy little fellow.
It's like the rock
Well, here he comes,
picking
right on time.
animation.
He's all ready to go. Huh? Ash, what are you doing here?
Caspar, I was just, Hey, hang on a second. Did you come here to feed the cat too?
Feed? Oh, I don't know what you're... Wait, did you say 2? Is that what you're doing?
I have been for a while. I had no idea you were doing the same.
I was just worried about the guy. I didn't want someone else to find him and hurt him. I figured it would be best to watch out for him. You know me, defender of the helpless. More importantly, though, what's your excuse?
I didn't want him stealing more supplies, so I figured I'd take care of him. Guess we're not so different after all, are we?
Yeah, I guess we're not. Deep down.
Since you're here, why don't you feed this little guy what you brought him?
Oh, yeah! I've got something good.
Looks like it. Hey, where did you get that?
Get what?
It looks awfully fresh. You didn't take that from the kitchen, did you?
Is that some dried fish and vegetables? Looks like someone's leftovers.
Well, never mind how I got mine. What about yours?
I'm a defender of the helpless. You really think I'd steal some food for a cat? I got it by fighting an old guy in the dining hall. I won it fair and square.
You started a fight over that?
No! The old guy started a fight, then I took his dinner as a prize. Aw, you love this meat, don't you? And you love when I fight, don't you?
Well, this cat's happy, so I'll let you off easy just this once. You're lucky he's so cute.
Alrighty then. Well, let's do one that isn't a romance ending.
Why are you sighing at me like that? Is my face really so hopeless?
Ingrid, I am trying to think of something polite to say right now. It's as if you have no experience dressing elegantly. At all.
I mean, I don't. Dorothea, I appreciate you taking the time, but yes, we're in the middle of a war. It hasn't been my top priority.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so hard on you. I was just surprised, is all. A gal like you're a beautiful young noblewoman who somehow has no experience with either makeup or fashion. This is basic stuff, Ingrid. The basics of the basics, really. But it's like you've never even tried.
I was just never interested before. Even as a child, it never appealed to me. Fussy, pretty things always felt unnecessary. And gussing myself up to attract someone has never played an important part in my pursuits as a knight. But you've piqued my interest in all this.
How?
It's not like I'd be dressing myself up just to attract someone. I'd be dressing up for the occasion, specifically. Even if I don't dress up any other time, a special occasion such as this is a good reason to try it out.
Well, yeah. That's why we dress up when we go out. You might meet someone, and you want to look your best, don't you? Get their attention, lure them in.
That's the exact opposite of what I just said.
It
You
is.
said previously that dressing up for the occasion is reason enough.
Oh, I just said that so you wouldn't run off screaming.
Oh my gosh.
I see.
My real point is that you're quite lovely even before getting all fixed up. Absolutely bewitching, in fact. So when I'm finished with you, well, someone looking at you could be forgiven for wanting to pounce.
Could they be? I don't know that I'd forgive them.
Oh, I know. That's why just before I lunge, I'm gonna ask permission.
Permission is not granted. Ever. Just back off.
Alright, well, we know where Ingrid stands.
I just wanted to say that I've been watching, and I'm really impressed by how hard you work. Very dedicated for someone so young.
Oh, thank you.
I really admire your everything. But you know, everybody needs to relax now and then. I was wondering if maybe you and me could...
I'm quite busy. I should get going. Bye.
That was difficult to watch.
Lawrence, ever since you started hanging around, I've had no luck. Usually, if I show a girl I'm mature, noble, and interested, she's an easy catch.
Your logic is sound, I will admit, but your results are less than entirely convincing. Honestly, all this talk of maturity and experience from a shallow person like you is rather laughable.
Shallow? What? Like your nobleness as some properly cultured man of the world?
Naturally, my bearing is as elegant and refined as silk. Observe. You seem to be deep in thought. Is there something on your mind? Please, allow me to lend you my ear. I will gladly shoulder any of your burdens.
Oh, thank you. But it's not something I really want to talk about.
So harsh. Even the slightest worry, I would have been happy to listen.
Why, yes, your silky bearing was quite impressive. You're always going on about nobility, but that's no way to win a woman. Your problem, and I may have told you this before, at least twice, your problem is you're pretentious.
That's rich, coming from you. Your bearing is so flippant that you utterly fail to gain a lady's trust. How can you not see that?
All I'm failing to see is you getting a girl's attention.
How dare you?
Listen, I'm sorry. That was mean. And you're probably right about me not being serious enough.
I will concede. I feel the same. Enough at least to keep your advice at the back of my mind. I was a touch too stubborn.
It's the same in battle, isn't it? If you don't bend a little, you fail.
Even so?
Yeah, with that being said...
I will outclass you, Sylvain.
Bring it on, Lawrence.
Kind of disappointed as a follow-up to with that one as a follow-up to the previous one, because it's like the same as the previous one mostly, only not as funny, and then like suddenly they're like, well, actually, like kind of out of nowhere, and then they're like, but actually the end. Like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it really added very much. Oh right, I got random Blue Lion supports. Sure, why not?
Today's dinner is steak and then a cake that's yummy yum. Now it's time to fill my tummy tum. Oh, this mountain of sweets and treats that I long to eat. Oh, stacks of steaks and cakes and crumbs and yums.
Felix, you weren't listening, were you?
I heard enough to know that you're hungry.
No, I mean, well, yes. At least tell me you didn't see the dance.
You have nice footwork. Get something to eat. I can take over watering the plants.
You're evil, Felix!
And you're shouting.
You can't just spy on people while they're singing without even saying anything! It's not right!
I actually did call out that I was coming in. It's not my fault you didn't hear.
Well, you need to speak louder then! Ugh, this is so embarrassing. And of course I was singing some silly food song I made up. I should have been singing about bears or swamp beasties.
I didn't realize there were songs about bears and swamp beasties. That food song seemed to be close to your heart. Your stomach isn't far from your heart, after all.
Oh, you are the worst!
Huh. What was that about? I better water these plants. Wouldn't want them to get thirsty, or they might start singing too.
Poor Felix. He didn't do anything wrong. That was very Bernadetta of Annette. I mean, minus the, like, paranoia, but... that song wasn't as good as Creepity Creep, though. No way. Creepity Creep is way better. To do... I guess we've seen supports with all of these people, so it doesn't really matter.
Dorothea, my dear, you must be tired from the extended fighting. May I get you anything?
Thank you, Professor Hanneman, but I'm fine.
You don't appear fine. Make sure not to overexert yourself. The war is not yours alone to fight. You have friends to rely on. We are here for you, always.
Thank you, but I really am fine. It's nice to know you're always thinking of me, though.
Well, of course. You're like a...
Like a what?
A bee.
Nothing. You're a very good friend. That's all. And once the war is over, I want to be sure you have a pleasant life.
Is that so? It sounds like you're getting a little ahead of yourself, planning for the end of the war.
Ahead of myself? No, I don't think so.
Oh? You sounded like you were building up the courage to give me something. Something, small and round and ring-shaped?
Uh-huh. A ring, you mean? Well,
Oh, no. Am I wrong? I'm so embarrassed. I misunderstood.
Oh my! That's what you were thinking. I've misled you. I see now I phrased things all wrong. I had no other intentions, I swear. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
I could forgive you if you proposed properly. You got me excited, you know?
But I haven't.
It's okay. I'm just teasing. Don't look so scared.
Teasing? Ah, well, of course.
It's nice just to know you care about me. Maybe we should talk more about the future in the future. How's that sound?
Why, it sounds lovely. Quite lovely.
Well, there's your confirmation that there's gonna be a parrot ending thing. I disapprove of that wholeheartedly. I mean, I guess at this point Dorothea is at least probably like over 20 years old, but still, like, she was... Actually, I guess she was Manuela's student technically, but whatever. It's just weird. Man, it's just weird.
Hey, Ignatz. What you doing?
Cyril, hello. I was just looking outside. Are you off to work right now?
I'm gonna get a bucket and get rid of that big puddle everybody keeps walking around.
Oh, you're getting rid of the puddle over there? That's a shame.
Huh?
I've quite enjoyed looking at the puddle. But pay me no mind. The work needs doing. I know.
Huh? What's so nice about it?
Well, look at it. With the addition of the puddle, the whole landscape has changed dramatically. Plus, it's perfectly unique. No two puddles are alike. Light will never again hit the water in quite that way. This whole landscape is unique, in fact. Here, now, for us to enjoy. It didn't exist a moment ago, and it won't exist in a moment.
I guess you're right, huh? Weird. I never thought about the rain that way. How it makes the world look different, and how that's kind of special, I mean.
Your mood just brightened, Cyril. And that made the world a little brighter, didn't it? And that's the other thing about looking at a landscape. The view is affected by the viewer's feelings.
Huh. Maybe you're right. When I remember it, I think Elmira was a real dull and lonely place. Once you're out of the city, there's nothing but the plains and sky, and they stretch on forever. You can lose yourself out there. That's the kind of place it is. It's strange. When I remember it now, even though it's lonely, it also seems real pretty too.
Maybe the image in your memories is affected by your emotional state. Anyway, it sounds fascinating. Endless plains, boundless sky. That's Elmira, huh? The thought of it makes my pulse quicken.
You're a big weirdo, Ignatz.
Well, that's true.
Am I? I suppose I am.
Sitting around, talking about how pretty puddles are?
Well, when you put it like that. Still, I'd love to see Elmira someday. Cyril, after the war, would you go there with me? We can make some memories of your homeland that aren't all dull and lonely.
I don't know. Maybe, but yeah, I'll think about it.
Ignatz dropping some subtly heavy stuff there. The memories being influenced by your emotional state. More, you know, there's some something to that. I definitely think that's true. And then the bit about like the landscape never being the same from moment to moment and all that reminds me of, speaking of pretentiousness, reminds me of a story by Jorge Luis Borges. I think that's how you say his name. I know it's Borges. Anyway, and the story it's Funes the Memorious. It's about this guy who can't, well, at first he just has like a perfect memory, and there's some other like side effects of that. And then he has this accident. He bumps his head and he like stops being able to like essentially see things as in the kinds of patterns that people like normally apply to things. So like one example of such a pattern, and the reason I bring this up is because, like, you know, when somebody looks out on the landscape from moment to moment, it is changing, as Ignatz is saying, but most people don't like process it in that way. They just like say this is the landscape, or this is like, you know, the field or the courtyard or whatever, and that's just what it is. And I'm not like worried about like at the detail level, like, well, okay, like here's some like, you know, stones here, or there's like a bug flying around or something. It's just like that's like a unified thing. But of course, it like reality is often more complicated than that. And we use those kinds of patterns to make stuff sensible for ourselves when like the amount of actual complexity there is much greater. And so Ignatz is like kind of calling attention to this, and I think that's actually really interesting, even though at the same time, like, I also like totally can't get into the headspace of like being able to appreciate a puddle. Like I would never be able to like stand there and stare at a puddle and be like, wow, that sure is interesting. Like, nope, not at all. But I like conceptually I understand what he's getting at, and I think it's actually like completely valid. I just don't have the emotional response necessary to experience it. Anyway, alright, I think that's enough of these. I'm gonna go ahead and launch the mission, and then next episode we'll actually fight it. So, let's do this. Vastly outnumbered by Imperial forces, it becomes clear that a surprise attack followed by a short and decisive battle is the only path to victory. With this in mind, you stealthily approach Enbar, the Imperial capital. Stealthily? Okay. I mean, we kind of just did that, but whatever.
After making preparations at Garreg Mach, the Alliance army marches to Enbar, the Imperial capital. In response to the Alliance's movements, Emperor Edelgard orders her trusted retainer, Hubert, as well as the Death Knight, to the front lines to meet the Alliance army head-on. The two forces clash in the city streets.
Well, then where's Edelgard?
There it is. Enbar. The Imperial capital and the largest city in all of Fodlan.
It's not just big. This city was designed to protect the castle where the Emperor lives. It's as though the city itself is a massive stronghold.
They surely noticed us approaching some time ago, and yet...
Our scouts confirm the citizens haven't been evacuated. They're being kept in town.
I've got to hand it to Her Imperial Majesty. Using her citizens as a shield to protect the castle takes some resolve.
Just like Cersei, right?
Mages will be lurking within as well.
Troops deployed to other areas are also returning.
If we don't conquer the city quickly, things will get complicated fast.
We can't search until we conquer the city. Let's focus on the fight for now.
Lady Rhea, please be safe. We've kept the Empire waiting long enough. Onward!
You know, there would be kind of a dark humor in having Rhea just be dead after all of this. So is this a new map? I think so. I don't think we've fought any... I mean, there's been other maps with like sort of canals running through them, but I don't think I've fought anything on this map before. It's similar to the one with, what do you call it? It was Hrim, that's right. The Ferdinand and Lysithea paralogue. Anyway, I guess Edelgard must be in that castle they were talking about. So we get to face the Death Knight again for some reason. He didn't die before. Got some birds. A couple treasure chests for some reason. Rather a lot of enemies. Defeat all commanders, so we have to defeat Death Knight, who has yet another Dark Seal, because why not? And Hubert. There's a goddess icon for some reason. He has bolting? That could actually be a little scary. What is ×4? Dark uses ×4. Oh, he has 80. They're like, no, you're not going to just like wear him out of tones. He's got 80 miasma charges. But for some reason he has this 2 use Agnia's arrow equipped. Okay, sure, why not? At least they didn't give him ×4 uses of bolting. That would have been pretty appalling. Oh, Wodow. How exciting. Except not really. Like, it's definitely not as good as the Cursed Ashiel sword, or... That's pronounced. Okay, other than that, looks... I don't know, I guess so you've got one squad up at the top and one squad over on the right. Not really sure why. You could ignore a lot of this map. Right, like... You send this squad down here to kill the Death Knight, you send this squad across to kill Hubert, and like there's all these enemies around here that don't really do anything. I don't know if that's intended or if there's something else that's going to come up that's going to affect that, but... Anyway, yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. I'm going to go do battle preps off screen, and then in the next episode we will conquer Enbar. Until then...